important because it allows you to give back to your community and be your character strength. You should listen to me because I volunteered at this specific event on February 16, 2017. I'm incredible to speak on this because I'm telling about my personal experience at Our House Shelter. During this event, I was responsible for children ages 3 to 7 while parents took an advocacy class. I'm going to talk about the civil society, how it helped my community, and how it can improve my community through civil and ethical implications. There are so many stereotypical, preconceptual conclusions of how homeless persons should look. I learned that none of that is true. I completed my service project at Our House Shelter. It is one of the best volunteer sites I've ever worked at, and I gained an experience I will never forget. The mission of my organization, according to OurHouseShelter.org, emphasizes a few key ideas: to empower the homeless and their homeless families and individuals. Their empowerment is to succeed in the workforce, in school, and in life through hard work. They also advocate wise decision-making and active participation in the community. They not only shelter homeless families, but working families that may struggle with shelter. They provide help with looking for jobs and childcare for parents with jobs. Our house motivates the individuals to do better. They provide classes such as parenting advocate classes more than once a year to give parents needed skills to be the best that they can be, not only for themselves, but for their children. When I attended Our House Shelter, I met so many kids that were so different in so many great ways. It was hard to pick a favorite. There was Noah, a 7-year-old that believed he was the best chalk drawer in the entire bunch. He was so creative and bold. There was Taylor, also a 7-year-old girl that kept reminding me she would be 8 in November. She was so curious about everything. I had gotten a text and she immediately assumed that it was my boyfriend. And she was like, "Who was that, your boyfriend texting you?" And it was so cute and innocently, it was just so innocent. There was also a 4-year-old girl named Erica that stood out to me the most. She was so full of energy and so bubbly. She was so enthusiastic and asked me to read about 6 different books to her. She swore she knew every word, but only associated the words with pictures. She really wanted to ride a bike on the playground, so I helped her get on one. And when I told her to pedal, she realized, she was like, "I don't know how." And I realized that I had to push her the whole way, so I just pushed her. They also had a class pet, a hedgehog, and she told me that the teacher told her that she couldn't get too close to it because she scared it. We were mostly on the school's playground while the parents were in the dining area for the advocating class, and told her there were about 10 children in my group. They were mostly the children that could walk. I was responsible for watching the children play, using the first aid kit if necessary, thankfully it wasn't, and cleaning up after them when it was time. The parents' class gave the parents the skills needed to be great parents to their children. By me volunteering, I gave the parents more of a reason to go because they didn't have to worry about their kids for about 4 hours. It allowed me to fulfill their mission of active participation in the community and provide motivation for the parents to succeed in life. During this project, communication was a very big factor. The first communication concept is small group communication. The definition, according to Lane, Abigail, and Gooch, page 14, is communication that occurs when a small number of people share a common purpose and interact for a reason. Before the division of volunteers, we all gathered to take a tour of where we would be and to discuss the do's and don'ts and our responsibilities for the children. This is an example because we were a small group with similar interests for helping the shelter. The second communication concept is selective listening. The definition, according to Communication in Civil Society, Jane Booth, page 97, is a type of disconfirming listening during which we attend to some parts of the message and ignore others. An example would be when it was time to gather all of the children to come inside the classroom because it was dark and it was cold outside. They were all like, "It's not that cold," and completely ignored the whole being dark outside situation. This example illustrates this because the kids ignored parts of what we were saying to try and stay outside rather than go in. The relevant communication principle is communication is complex. The definition, according to Applied Communications 2014, page 11, is that there is no such thing as an easy or simple symbolic exchange between communicators, especially if they're like 3 to 7 years old. An example would be when it was time to clean up and put all of the toys back where they belong. The kids had to constantly be reminded to put the toys back. Maybe it was because of their short attention spans, but they would start putting the toys back and eventually end up playing and making more of a mess. This is an example because it was not easy or simple communicating with 3 to 7-year-olds. There are so many things the community needs that will improve the way we communicate. One communication concept I could use to improve my communication would be emphatic listening. The definition, according to Lane, Abigail, and Gooch, 2014, is a listening style during which we listen to understand and experience the feelings of a conversation partner. I chose this concept based on my service experience because many people at the homeless shelter aren't heard enough because of their circumstances. I can use this concept to improve my communication by allowing myself to receive others' perspectives and putting myself in their shoes to understand them better. A civil or ethical implication I can use to improve my community would be responsibility. The definition, according to Applied Communication Space 12, is holding ourselves accountable for our choices, actions, and communication with others. I chose this implication based on my service experience because being responsible was a big factor in being successful with this service project. I can use this implication to improve my community by showing responsibility in everything that I do and showing the next generation that it's important for life. After my 4 hours, I realized that this was a great volunteer site. During my service experience, I was responsible for children ages 3 to 7. My parents took an advocate class. I've discussed my experience at our house homeless shelter, how I've helped my community through volunteering, and some civil and ethical implications. The kids I spent only 4 hours with changed my entire perspective, and it has become a regular volunteer site for me. And this is, yeah, you know what, we were drawing that flower. This flower we were drawing.